Wow, this is my favorite tofu that I've ever made. Let's make maple cider tofu with sweet potato mash. I'm taking a $50 grocery list and I'm showing you how to turn that list into your week of dinners. I'm giving you the grocery list, all of the pantry staples that you're gonna need, and all of the recipes. By the end, you'll use up all of the ingredients that you bought. You'll get 20 servings of meals out of it. It's 5 recipes that each make 4 servings, and this is day 4. If you're just tuning in, you're looking for the grocery list, I have everything that you need linked in the description. So far this week, we've made a caramelized shallot 1-pot pasta. We've made a creamy tomato soup with roasted garlic and crispy quinoa on top. We've made a saucy beans and greens skillet with pork. And today, recipe number 4 is gonna be another plant-based recipe. It's gonna be a maple cider glazed tofu with sweet potato mash. I've been probably looking forward to making this recipe the most out of the whole week, just because I think this maple cider sauce that we're gonna make is just gonna be so, so good. I love a tofu that gets nice and crispy in the oven, and the sweet potatoes will complement that really nicely. Also, if you're looking for breakfast for the week to go along with my meal plan, that's available for you on my Substack for all free subscribers. The cost is $18.50 to add the breakfast items to the grocery list, and you'll get 18 to 20 savory breakfast muffins for the week. Each one has over 14 grams of protein, and they round out your meal plan for the week. Before I get into the ingredients for today's recipe, just a reminder, hit subscribe here on YouTube. I've been posting a new video every day this week. I'm going through the entire grocery list. We're making all the recipes, so make sure you're following along. And you can follow me on all the other social media platforms. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Pinterest, and join my Substack newsletter because I'm gonna send out a recap of all of this at the end of the week so you can get it in one spot. It's gonna have the grocery list, the pantry staples, all of the recipes, helpful tips, all of that stuff. So all of those things are linked in the description. There are only 3 ingredients actually from the grocery list that we're gonna need for this recipe. We really rely more than any of the other ones on our pantry staples for this one. So the 3 ingredients are sweet potatoes, our block of firm tofu, and then the rest of our veggie broth. We're using everything up throughout the week, so now we're finally gonna finish off our veggie broth. The pantry staples are things that you would find in your pantry typically. That's the oils, vinegars, soy sauce, maple syrup. So the things that we're gonna be using for this recipe are olive oil, coconut aminos, and you can use low sodium soy sauce or tamari for this recipe. I like to use coconut aminos in my recipes because they're gluten-free, and coconut aminos is just a gluten-free sub for soy sauce. I do recommend the low sodium though because coconut aminos is less salty than just like a regular soy sauce. We're also gonna be using apple cider vinegar and maple syrup. Those are gonna be 2 components that go into the maple cider glaze on the tofu. And in order to get a little bit of crispiness on the outside of the tofu, we're gonna use some tapioca flour. You could also use arrowroot starch or cornstarch. And then for spices, salt and pepper, garlic powder, chili powder, and some dried rosemary. Just note that we're not gonna be using all of the sweet potatoes in this recipe. We're gonna be using some of them tomorrow. So follow along the written recipe. I always link that right in the description so you know exactly how much you're gonna need of all this stuff. There's just a little bit of prep that we're gonna need to do, and then we're gonna get started on the mashed sweet potatoes. We're gonna press our tofu, so let's start prepping. So we're gonna want our tofu to press for about 20 minutes. So that's the first thing I'm gonna do. And if you haven't pressed tofu before, it's pretty simple. You can use a tofu press, but I'm gonna show how to do it without one. So I drained the liquid from our container of tofu, and now I'm gonna wrap this in a clean kitchen towel, or you could do a paper towel. And the point of pressing it is to get the excess liquid out so that you can get like a nice firm piece of tofu and it's not gonna fall apart. I just put it on a plate and place a heavy object on top. There are all different things you can use. I normally do a cast iron pan, so I'm gonna put that on top, and then I'm gonna set this aside for 20 minutes. So I've got the tofu pressing. We're gonna peel the sweet potatoes, but first I'm just gonna put on a pot of water. I'm gonna add a little bit of salt and bring this to a boil. Okay, let's peel these. You wanna make them as even as you can so they cook at a similar rate. The water's at like a gentle boil, so I'm gonna add these in. And we just wanna cook these until they're fork tender. Now I have the oven heating at 425 degrees, and it's time to slice up our tofu. So this pressed for about 20 minutes. And we're gonna cut it into 1/2-inch cubes. I like to cut it first like this. Then I usually do down the middle and one more time on each side. Turn it around, down the middle, and one more time on each side. You just wanna get these even cubes. If you don't wanna use tofu for this recipe, you could also use chicken, cube it up in a similar way. You could use salmon. I'll leave some recipe notes about cook time for that. Let's transfer the tofu to this mixing bowl. We're gonna add 2 tablespoons of the starch. some olive oil, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, a half teaspoon of salt, and a half teaspoon of chili powder. Just coat gently because tofu can break, and we'll transfer this to a sheet pan. Get these evenly spread out, and then we're going into the 425-degree oven. I drained the liquid from the potatoes, and while they're still hot, I'm gonna mash them up. So we're doing vegetable broth and a mix of our spices. We've got salt, black pepper, a little bit of chili powder, some dried rosemary, and garlic powder in here. If you don't have a potato masher, you can use a fork. This just makes it easier. Okay, sweet potatoes are done. Tofu is in the oven. We're gonna make the glaze for the tofu now. So on a pan, I'm gonna heat up a tablespoon of olive oil, the rest of our broth, coconut aminos, apple cider vinegar, and maple syrup. I'm just gonna bring this to a simmer and let it reduce down. Tofu should be done. I tossed it halfway through just to get crisp on both sides. Listen to that noise. I love a crispy tofu cube. Okay, so I let this reduce for about 10 minutes, and I would say it's like half of the volume that it was. A good non-stick will be good for this. Or you could do it in a saucepan, but the reason I have it in the skillet here is I'm just gonna add the tofu right in. Before I do though, just look at how crispy the tofu cubes are. And let's transfer. We're just gonna toss to coat. I have the heat off now, by the way. Oh yeah, it's getting that perfect coating on each of the tofu pieces, so just keep mixing. And you can even hear on the pan how crispy the pieces are. Wow, this looks really good, oh my gosh. Let's get this plated up. The tofu looks amazing, I'm so excited. Okay, I knew that I was gonna be very excited to try this one, but the way that it ended up coming out, it looks better than I expected in my head. And I just love a crispy tofu. I love when it has a glaze like this. I literally just need to do the taste test now because I'm dying to try it just looking at it. I think this is such a unique way to incorporate fall flavors. Like, this isn't the first idea I had when I was thinking of fall recipes. And that's why I love this series. It really gets me to go out of my comfort zone. Things like this come out of it, and I just love that. Okay, let's try it. Oh my God. Wow, this is my favorite tofu that I've ever made. It has a little bit of spice to it. The sweet potatoes and the tofu go together so perfectly. The sweet potato with that little bit of chili powder gave just like the slightest amount of heat, which complements this so well. And then the glaze on the tofu is just the star of it. I'm so glad that I let it reduce down for those like full 10 minutes. It got nice and thick and just like coated the tofu so perfectly. But the maple is so strong in the best way. And oh my God. It's just amazing. So far, hands down, my favorite recipe of the week. Even if you are not a tofu person, I'm begging you to make this. I think I'm gonna convert you. I've converted so many of you, and I think this is gonna be the dish to do it for the rest of you. Okay, I'm gonna bring in a Tofu Skeptic to try this one because I really wanna show how good it is. Come here. Okay, I never have Brian come into my videos.
Hi everyone.
But I'm so excited. Okay, you gotta try. Would you consider yourself a tofu skeptic?
I would say that's an understatement, yeah.
Okay, and he has not tried it. I just finished making it.
Wow. It's so crispy.
It's my favorite tofu I've made.
It tastes like orange chicken, but
that's what I said.
But a little bit not like chicken.
Well, I'm glad you approve of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna take this. I hope we don't
mind. Yeah, you go. Okay, so if that doesn't convince you to try it, I don't know what will. I am so excited about this recipe. I can't believe we're almost done with the week. I just have one more recipe to share with you tomorrow. But so far we've made such great, just like fall, comforting, cozy recipes. One more to come. This one though is just such a standout for me, and I loved making it with you. Thank you for watching. Thanks for following along this whole week. Links for everything that you might need are in the description. Please subscribe to my channel and keep following along. I have so much more to share with you even beyond this series. And get on my newsletter because I'm gonna send a recap of everything that I shared this week all in one spot, so it's super easy for you to reference, get the grocery list, go shopping, and just make all the recipes. And don't forget to grab my breakfast prep recipe too over on Substack. I've got breakfast for the week all planned out for you at just $1 per serving. That's completely free. Go grab it. I'm gonna go devour this entire plate. I'm so excited to sit down and eat it. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow.